For those of you that do not have all of the really good expensive cards in MLB The Show 25, or maybe you want some fun new cards to use, you've come to exactly the right spot, because in this video, I want to go over and recommend a bunch of hitters and pitchers who are either very cheap to buy or completely free and easy to grind for. That will be, just about as good as some of the most expensive cards in the game. And if you want, you should be able to build an entire team of these players we go over in today's video. And if you guys have any other good free or cheap players that you've used that I don't go over in the video, go ahead and drop those players down in the comment section. So the first player I want to go over is from one of the May Spotlight programs, and that is 92 overall, Ryan O'Hearn, right field with secondaries of first and left. And this card, he does have poor fielding and reaction, so maybe you do want him at first base instead of in the outfield. But this card will be able to hit a ton on literally any difficulty that you play on, even the higher ones, with how high that contact, the clutch, and the vision are. It's just going to play on any, whether it's Legend or Hall of Fame, even on those difficulties, it's going to play. Really good card, especially hitter, that I like right there. Another card that really has intrigued me since coming out recently, and I have not used him yet, but this Ian Happ, which is about like 15K, you could buy him for currently. However, he is in the multiplayer program, and he's just going to continue to go down and down as people continue to unlock him. Only left fielder, unfortunately, but switch hitter, which I absolutely love. The contact is there, the clutch is there. Very good fielder. 70 speed is just good enough for left field. And then the power, he's not going to be hitting. He probably has enough power to be hitting occasional home runs, but mainly he's going to be, hitting them in the gap, getting lots of doubles, and that sort of thing. But again, switch hitter, which I absolutely love about this card. This card's going to be really good. And again, his price will continue to go down. So just monitor, if you don't want to buy him yet, you want his card to fall down even more in price, you can do that as well. Next is Yon Moncada, who is a collection reward at 18 cards, and you will get most of these cards for free just from playing the game, and you probably have him already, honestly. And if you need to buy any cards, there are going to be a few cheap ones, and that's all you'll probably need to buy. But this card, third base, second base, secondary position right there. Switch hitter, which as I mentioned with Happ, I really love that about this card. 90 speed at P2, I guess you'd be. Good fielder, very good hitting, every hitting attribute, basically 90 and above, essentially, right? Mid 80s or above, which I really like. That card's been very, very good for me. And then Joe Adell is another card in this collection that is not bad. The 81 contact right is the only gripe I have with this card, but otherwise, very good all-around card as an outfielder that you could try as well. Up to you. 91, Danny Coulombe, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But one of the better lefty relievers literally in the entire game. Like, look at those per nines. All the per nines are very good, but especially that hit per nine, that maxed out pitching clutch is super nice. And then he's not going to throw hard, but he does have a 5-pitch mix, which is, somewhat rare for a relief pitcher, which I like. And you would have to buy this card. Right now, you could buy him for under 20K, so he's not bad. And I think he's definitely worth it. Just looking at the attributes, the pitches, everything right there is super promising with that card. And for a 91 overall, that is an absolute steal of a card right there. One card that dropped recently that has really stood out to me right away is you get him very early on in this June Spotlight drop. Is this Otto Kemp? Positional flexibility, which is nice, right? Third base, first base, second base, right field. The contact there, the clutch is there, 92 speed. He's solid in the field, so you don't feel terrible about playing him, in different positions. He's not a great fielder, obviously, but he's just good enough. And then the power, 80 plus, not too bad as well. Vision at 70, which is respectable. So this is just a very good, solid card with, it can play third base, like I said, first base, second base, all over that infield for you. Wherever you need him, he probably can fit in that position. So I like that card a lot, and one that might get overlooked, but one that you get very early on in that spotlight drop, which you can get from doing just a few moments, which is nice. James Wood is an absolute monster. Only thing to nitpick about this card would be the fielding and the reaction. That's pretty scary, but at the very least, he does have a decent arm. He has pretty good speed, so he should be fine in left or right field. But this card's going to mash. Maxed out clutch, the contact, all above 100. I just have him at parallel 1, so all these attributes can go up even more. Very good power. He's got home run power. It's not just the contact. It's not just the clutch. He can hit, plenty of balls out of the park for sure. And I like this card. I've been using him a decent amount, and he has been performing quite well for me. The new Paul Skeens that came out is very good as well. He's got that outlier on the four seam and the splitter, which is very interesting. And he does have a changeup too. Now, you might think that the splitter and the changeup are too similar. However, with that outlier on the splitter, that pitch will actually be sitting like mid-90s, and then his changeup will be roughly 10 miles an hour different, right? So these pitches could be really, really tough to hit, and then you obviously have that outlier on the fastball too, and then a couple other pitches as well. Pretty good per nines. Definitely like that Paul Skeens. Have not used him yet, but I'm about to unlock him and start using him very, very soon, and it is an intriguing card for sure. Now, this Nate Pearson card does have outlier on the four-seam fastball, just another starting pitcher option right here. You can see he is under 20K, so you do have to pay a little bit for him. Up to you whether you want to do that or you just want to use maybe like a Paul Skeens that you might just get for free. But like I said, outlier on the fastball, good speed differentials on his pitches, right? He has that, he can hit triple digits on that fastball. He's got the very slow changeup, the very slow curveball. Nice 5-pitch mix, which I always like. And then the per nines don't necessarily jump off the page. Like, he does have 100 hit per nine at no parallel, but still solid. Just, per nines, not, nothing outstanding, but just pretty good across the board. I like this card. You do have, like I said, you do have to pay for him. Up to you whether you actually want to do that or not, but not a bad card there. Now, in the June Lightning collection, some people probably have not noticed, but maybe some of you have, but this 94 Devers is in here for, all you have to do is complete 2 of the Spotlight programs for June, and you get, a third baseman who's going to hit the heck out of the baseball right here. I usually do like Devers cards. I usually do like his swing, from the last couple of years. So I think that is an intriguing card that you could try if you would like. One more card that has dropped significantly in value is this George Springer right here. He's dropped off an absolute cliff since the last update. And yeah, overall, just a very, very good card. Center field option, right field option for you right here. But he might jump back up in price a little bit. But right now, definitely sitting at a good budget card, for under 10K, and he's going to be one of the better outfielders in the entire game. So definitely an intriguing option right there. And then another card right here that has dropped in price. And yes, he is an XP. He is an XP boss for this inning, right? Derek Jeter, but he is, 16K you could buy him for basically right now. So even if you have not picked him as the boss in the pack, I would buy him because he is one of the better shortstops in the entire game, and he's under 20,000. That's really all you need to know about that card. So definitely something to keep an eye on if you have not chosen him. You do not have him yet. And then a completely free center field option would be this Evan Carter right here. And once you parallel him up, he's going to have 99 speed. He's also pretty solid in the field as well. He's got that 105 clutch with very good hitting attributes against righties. And then even against lefties, like 90 contact left as a lefty and not at any parallels is pretty good too. So like, this card's a very, very good card that you can get just for free from playing the game. And again, he's going to be flying around out there in center field and then is able to hit pretty well as well. Definitely like that card. And then going over to the pitchers now, a relief pitcher right here is a new one that recently came out. This one, again, kind of like the Danny card we went over earlier, he's not going to throw very fast, but the speed differentials on his pitches are pretty good with that 72 mile an hour curveball right there. And then he does have that 5-pitch mix, which I always like for relief pitchers. And the per nines are good as well, like that 103 hit per nine, 112 K per nine, 110 pitching clutch. He's going to be able to locate his pitches as well, pretty well with 88 BB9. So I do like this card right here. And if you do like more high velocity pitchers, I get that, but I think this is a good one to try. He's not too expensive either, so you're gonna have to buy him most likely unless you pull him, but he is a pretty good option for cheap right there. And then John Donaldson, very good still. So he should be completely free to get, because I think if you do all the storylines and then you do the Jackie Robinson showdown, you will have enough cards to unlock John Donaldson, who we know has that outlier on the slider and on the four-seam fastball. Really nice pitch mix to go along with it, with the good speed differentials, because as we know, you're going to be hitting 103 with that fastball, and then he has that slurve at 80, the forkball at 82. So I do like that. And I just think John Donaldson cards always play very, very well, as we've seen in previous years. So I would definitely still recommend that card right there. Junior Caminero is under 20K right now, but I just want to mention him quickly because his hitting attributes are absurd, right? He's not going to be the fielder. He's not going to have the speed, but he does have, you can kind of play him around the infield, so you can kind of stick him at a spot like third base where you might not need, a gold glove caliber guy. And his arm is probably just good enough to play there, right? So you could probably stick him at third, but he's going to absolutely mash. So I just wanted to mention his name. I don't think I've really used him yet, but I have heard good things about him. So go ahead and give him a try if you want to spend a little bit on him. Now, Jason Dominguez, completely free, and he's been in the game for a while now. He was in the May, I think it was like Drop 2 Spotlight program, and yeah, he's been out for a while, but I've been absolutely crushing with this card. Good attributes across the board, and as I mentioned before, love that switch hitter ability on him. So then probably the most expensive card, I guess, in this video would be this Jacob Wilson right here, because he is in that May Retro Lightning collection. I think you need 7 cards. Now, you do get some of those cards for free just from playing the games, completing the programs and, opening up free packs and things. So it shouldn't cost you a ton, but he will be a little bit more expensive. But I just want to mention him because I don't go over many shortstops in the game or in this video. So good contact, good clutch, good vision, all of that is there. He's going to be, he's going to play on any difficulty and play very well. And the only gripe with him is the speed. Like, he's pretty slow for a shortstop, but a good card nonetheless. Depends on if you want to spend a bunch for him. But then this Altuve card right here, you do need to get him in the Summer Series mini season if you haven't already. So if you do get him for winning the championship there, but I know not everyone's a fan of him because of how short he is and the strike zone. However, I'm a huge fan of the small strike zones, and with Altuve cards, just in general, I really like. So, that's why I recommend him. Right now, there's not many good second base options either. So I think he's a really, really good candidate for this video. Completely free to get. Not many good second base options, and he's going to be very good. He's going to be able to hit. He's got a little bit of speed. He's pretty solid in the field as well. So I do like that Altuve card a ton, and I do like that small strike zone. Another second base option, though, would be Brian Roberts, and he is a switch hitter. The attributes are not maybe on par with that Altuve we just went over, but maybe a little more balance, like a little bit more power on him, and that switch hitter ability I really like, so I just figured. And you do get him for completing the Moonshot program, so it is completely free to get that card as well. Now, I have not gone over any catchers. Let's do the catcher segment right here. Hunter Goodman is a free catcher that you can get for completing one of the Spotlight programs. He's an option. Piazza is super cheap as well. You could try to get him and see if you like Piazza. Otherwise, I do actually think this Adley is going to be worth it and won't be that expensive either. And he's just by far the best catcher out of those 3 cards. And like I said, you probably are going to be able to get most of the cards for the Summer Series just from grinding the game. And then you might have to buy some, but they're going to be cheaper cards. And this Adley is going to be worth it. Switch hitter on the catcher card right here with very good hitting attributes across the board. Good in the field. 50 speed without any parallels on him is pretty decent for a catcher too, so I definitely like him, and I'd recommend him as a good catching option. And then sticking with the Summer Series cards, Griffin Jax. I have always liked using Griffin Jax cards, and this one really, he's cheap, as we just saw. It's 6, 7K, whatever, but his per nines are all around very good. Nothing, like control wise, velocity-wise, nothing's really behind either. And that 5-pitch mix, I always really like with the relievers, as I mentioned earlier. And then another relief pitcher I do want to touch on quickly is Michael Kopech. Lots of you probably have used him already, but he's very, very cheap. He does have outlier on that four-seam fastball, and his issue would be his control, I guess, and he does only have 3 pitches. However, I do like that all 3 pitches are thrown at much different speeds. Like he has, the fastball can reach triple digits, but then he has that slider in the upper 80s, and then the cutter in the low 90s. Maxed out hit per 9. I don't know how it took me this long to say this. Maxed out hit per 9, maxed out pitching clutch on top of that as well. This is still a very good card, and I definitely recommend using him especially for the price. And then just another righty reliever that I want to mention quickly is Ben Joyce, who has that outlier on the fastball and the sinker. Angels Color Storm card, so it's going to take you like under an hour to get this card, basically, if you don't have them already. 113 hit per 9, 112 pitching clutch. This card's very good. He's going to throw very, very fast, and definitely recommend this as an option. And then one card just for fun that I want to mention is this Moonshot Joey Bart can mash against lefties. Possible bench bat for you that you can put in against lefties. Like literally one of the best in the game against lefties. And he's a catcher too, so he could be your catcher option on your bench. And then if you need him to face any lefties, go ahead and use him. Now, I just wanted to mention him. You know, you don't have to use him if you don't want to, but he is very, very cheap, and he is going to absolutely mash lefties. So a fun card to use if you don't have him already. Now, another card I want to mention is Nick Castellanos. Probably a DH, you know, right field or DH option, just because he can hit very, very well. You will get him from completing the Summer Series program. And I usually really like how Castellanos cards typically play and just his swing in the game. And then finally, Brent Rooker could be another kind of DH or, you know, corner outfield option for you. Once you parallel him up some, he's basically going to have 100 plus hitting attributes across the board, along with 70 speed. And like we see, the fielding is not there, the reaction's not there. So the outfield spots do scare me. He probably is more of a DH/bench bat or possibly corner outfielder, but he's going to hit. He's going to have 70 speed, which is not too bad on top of that, so he can leg out some doubles when you hit some in the gap with them. So those are a bunch of inexpensive or completely free cards that you can pick up, and a lot of these cards are going to be just as good or on a similar level as some of the best, most expensive cards in the game. So I wanted to go over all of those options that you guys can try out if you have not already, and go, like I said before, drop in the comment section if you have any other players, any other very good budget cards that you've been using that I did not mention in this video. Otherwise, I do appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this one. See you next time. Peace.